pros and cons on
Pros
all
and
of that.
cons.
It makes me think, though, Rachel, that, and I'm coming back to that question about buyers, and this is true for everybody. It's true for buyers. It's true for sellers. If your mindset is one of fear, that's going to take you into a downhill spiral of
Right.
scarcity.
Yeah.
So basically, you're operating from the position of fear and scarcity, versus the opposite of that, which is operating from a place of love and abundance. And so I think that, it might sound a little Pollyanna, but the truth is that, if you're operating in fear and scarcity, everything in your life is going to be shaky. But if you come from a different perspective, then you're going to be at least looking open-mindedly at what the future could look like what you're talking about.
Fear and greed drive a lot of real estate decisions.
Sure.
I think that when we start to say, look at it from a place of abundance, like you're saying, I mean, you really should go into every real estate transaction with that kind of mindset.
Absolutely.
And not every property is going to make sense. Not every property. And I think that that's where also so many of these topics segue into one another, because
they do.
That's why when you do work with a professional in this industry, it's not about the sale. It's about the relationship. It's about making sure that you know that this is going to be a good financial decision for that person. It does you no good to sell someone something at top dollar for them to come back and hate you and then taint, the reputation and the name and all of that, especially for you, for someone like you.
I'd rather be hugged than mugged.
I'm with you.
I like to walk down my street and somebody come up and go, hey, let's have a hug, rather than somebody with a baseball bat.
Yeah. Well, I think also AI has created a certain level of fear for people.
Sure.
And rightfully so. It's an unknown territory, and I think if we could have stopped it a long time ago and not gone in this direction, we probably would have been better off. But we'll see what happens when robots take over the world. But no, no. But I mean, like in regards to AI, you really can use it to your advantage.
Absolutely,
and
you can use it
in our business. We use
for
it.
Good.
Yeah, we can use it to be able to elevate marketing for a home and doing all kinds of really innovative and amazing things.
Sure.
Staging a vacant home, like when we have some sellers that just cannot afford staging or whatever it might be, to be able to use AI to stage a vacant home is incredible. Mm-hmm. And it helps to give a buyer a new perspective of what that home could be, even if it comes down to whether it's a bedroom set or if it comes down to full-blown renovations. We've done some really cool listing videos with homes that are a little bit older where we've completely shown it with a remodeled, updated kitchen or whatever it is. So it just allows for elevated business to be done. Granted, it can be used, in the wrong hands. Anything can be used for bad and evil things.
Sure.
But I do think that in utilizing this AI stuff, buyers and sellers can use it to their advantage.
They can, and it doesn't have to be a scary thing or, hey, the robot's going to take over the world and I won't have a job and whatever else. But when we realize that the market has changed so dramatically, and the tools that we use, I mean, AI can be very complementary in terms of freeing us up, I know, to be able to spend more time on a relational basis with our family, friends, customers, clients, that sort of thing. And so, people worried about AI taking their job or the robots coming and taking over the world or whatever it is. That's really an imposed fear tactic.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not realistic, really.
Yeah, I agree.
mean, because the truth is, nothing is ever going to take the place of personal relationships.
Human touch. People want a human touch.
They do.
I mean, especially coming out of COVID, it's so odd to start thinking back. It almost feels like it wasn't a real time. I mean, to think that at one time I was washing my fruit from the grocery store. I was washing the outsides of bags from the, like, we did some weird.
What were you doing that for?
Because we were afraid, like in the very beginning, it was like everyone was hoarding groceries and hoarding toilet paper and all this stuff. And any grocery that came to our house.
I didn't know you did that.
We did. In the first few weeks of COVID, before we really knew what we were knowing, before I made a decision for my family that, we were not going to live in fear. We were going to make sure we still saw you guys and saw family, because we were like, if we're gonna croak, we're gonna do it with family, right? So we were not great COVID people. We were, but we weren't. So, but when I'm saying, like, to think about the time that we were doing extreme things because of fear, right? And the unknown, it's kind of the same with this AI stuff. There's this overlying type of fear, but also when we start to kind of lean into that fear and just say, okay, how can we use this for good? And how can we use this to elevate the experience within our industry, within our lives? I got to tell you,